G'day guys, welcome back. Welcome to Pouring Your Heart Out. I am going to do another fairy flower for you today. I haven't done one for a little while. I've been doing my fantasy flower. So I want to try the fairy flower with the clear push at the end, like I did with my last fairy flower I did, this one. Love the way it turned out. So I'm going to do that again. And I'm going to use magenta, turquoise, and purple. These are the Holbein inks, acrylic inks. That's it there, still transparent. Probably not as dark as I would normally use. I'm going to try with a little bit less colour. And my white is my Bloom pigment paste. I'd call that opaque. You can still see the stick a tiny bit. If you tilt it right over, you can kind of see through the stick on the very edge there. So that's the Bloom white pigment paste. All right, let's get started with our layering, our dirty pour layering. I got a little bit more of the pink than I have of the other colours because pink and blue are going to make purple. So I thought I'd better have a little bit more pink, only an extra like 5 or 10 grams, just so that I don't lose all my pink, because I think it's going to be quite purpley. But you just don't know, do you? So it's different every time, and it depends on, you know, how much you swirl your little cup at the end. If you want a traditional spiral looking fairy flower, you might not want to stir your little dirty pour cup at all. You might just want to pour in a spiral to get that sort of spirally lollipop look. I don't want to get that today. I just want more of a blending. Now I'm using my large ice silicone mold today. It's a new one. I haven't used it before, so it's quite a big mold. So I have got a small ice as well. Small ice and large ice. This is the large. And I've got it up on a trivet just to keep it up off the ground, off the bench, so that the air can get underneath and it doesn't flash cure too much. I wanted to stay, you know, the resin to stay liquid as long as possible, so it can move as long as possible, because it's quite deep. And I'm using the Platinum Super Clear. None of the Platinum, except for the River table resin, they don't really like to be poured all that deep. One little swirl. So, you know, they tend to flash cure if you pour them too deep. So, got that underneath to hopefully slow down the curing process. Now I'm just going to pour that into the center like that, and hopefully we'll get, look at that cup, hopefully we'll get some pretty colors. I'm going to pour the excess into the middle. I don't want to disrupt what's going on the outside, but I'll just pour that into the center like so. All right, so what I did, I mixed my resin. I've just remembered that I added too much of one. You know how when you're pouring in or you're mixing, you're pouring in your A and then you pour your B, and then you think, oh my gosh, I've gone too much of my B, and then you have to pour more A. Yeah, well, that happened to me this morning, so now I've got more resin than I need. But anyway, I just won't use all my clear at the end because it's more than I need. I think I poured like an extra 14 grams of the B, and then I had to double it for the A, and then, anyway, I just won't use it all. I just have to remember that. So there's my white going in there. My clear I've just split into 2 cups for now, just so it's not too deep and not going to, again, get too hot and flash cure. I did pop my resin in the vacuum chamber just twice. I did it twice. Brought it up to bubbles, devacked, brought it up to bubbles, and then devacked, and then started the video. So that's all I did. It's still got lots of little bubbles in it, but they're minute. I didn't want to go any longer because it's just taking too, you know, it'll cut down on the working time. So I guess it was about 5 minutes. The Platinum Super Clear is very similar in consistency. I think I can get those bubbles off to the Art Pro, and also like the Ultra Cast. I think they're very similar in consistency. All right, so that's done. Let's chop the top off. Scissors are blunt. So a little bit bigger of a hole today, I think. I'm going to get some bigger dots. All right, make sure that's tucked in so it's not going to leave marks in your resin. Now you can see I've got a slightly bigger hole, so I'm just going to get into some kind of a rhythm here. And around we go. I find if you hold the bag more horizontal, it doesn't drip out as fast if your hole's a little bit bigger. But I did want bigger petals today, so I've made my hole a little bit bigger. And around we go. Squeezing very lightly with my thumb as I drop my hand just to get that dot. Look, I don't think it matters if your dots aren't perfectly round, you know, if they're a little bit messy. It's all going to move, the resin's going to move, it's going to change, you're going to get gorgeous petals, I think. No matter how you pour them. I've been pouring in a spiral lately, you know, with my fantasy flower. And they've been turning out amazing as well. So, and you know, other designs you pour with M's and W's, and they turn out amazing as well. All totally inspired by resincourses.com, the lovely Micah. I will link their course down below for you. It's their recipe, their ingredients, their amounts and everything. So it's copywritten. So we can't share it with you, but if you want to learn exactly how much of everything to use, check out their courses. There's lots of different ones. I'm not allowed to share the recipe with you, but enjoying all the experimenting, because, you know, every country's got their own resins and inks and everything, so everything's a little bit different for everybody. But yeah, we're enjoying doing them, aren't we? Experimenting. I'm going to use up all my white here. Might as well. Where did I end there? Keep going. Just kind of putting the dots between other dots where I've got it like a little bit of a blank spot. And this time I'm going to come closer to the center rather than the outside, because I'm really wanting the resin to close up in the middle. And I am going to do my little trick. If you haven't seen it already, stay tuned. You'll see my little trick that I use for closing up resin. Some of you may have already seen it or know what I'm talking about. A few more little drops just to finish off my paste. Like so. Nearly there. Nearly there. That'll do. I don't want to wait any longer. My resin's getting warm. All right, now I'm going to tip this into this. Always pour onto a stick to stop that splashing and more bubbles forming. These bubbles are little micro bubbles. I know they look very bubbly, but hopefully they won't stand out as much as big bubbles. Big bubbles, no troubles. All right, clean up here. I can feel my resin's already getting warm in my cup there. That's another reason why, you know, I like to put it into two more shallow pours, just so that it doesn't heat up too much. Because when your resin's thick, it's not going to move as well. So especially people over in the US that have got summer at the moment, you might be struggling with your resin getting really thick really fast. So I'm going to pour this in now. Find the middle. No white in it, no colour in it. It's just clear. And we're going to pour it in. Try and keep it in the middle, you guys. Don't move it too much. I'm going to pour all of that in. That'll do. That'll do. All right. Now I'm going to give that just a few minutes while I clean all my sticks. Give that a few minutes to start closing up. When you do the fairy flower, well, when I do the fairy flower, 9 times out of 10, or probably 10 times out of 10, the middle stays empty. It does. So I think it's just how it is. So I am trying to combat that. So I am gonna just pop the video on pause for maybe 10 minutes. And then I'm going to come back. I'm going to show you what we're going to do on the next step. All right, I'm going to take you down so that you can have a little closer look at the center, because it is quite clear at the moment. Obviously, if you had white in your clear push at the end, you'd have a white center. But because I want to see what's going on in there, I'm using clear. Now, I do like to use a torch or a flashlight. Look away if you don't like bright lights or flickering lights. Okay, gone? Did you go? All right, come back though. All right, so you can see. Hopefully you can see. We just have a big clear center there, okay? So that is what we're going to combat. But I'm going to come back in about 10 minutes or so and see what it's doing. All right, see you soon. Okay, so I waited about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, and you can see it hasn't really done very much, which is what I was expecting. But I am hoping that I can use my syringe and suck some of that resin out. And I'm going to see if I can do it on an angle like this so you can see. I'm going to get the tip down as close to the base as possible because I want to move that bottom resin, not the top resin. It is starting to get thick now. We'll just pop it in there. Probably need to do this 3 or 4 times. This is a 10 ml syringe. Now I'm just going to turn that. I can turn it because it's on a trivet. All right, go in again and suck from the base if you can. Get near the base because you want that bottom to close up. You don't want the top to close, you want the bottom to close, okay? Squirt that in there. Now, I'm going to have to turn this because I need to get the other side, because normally I would do it straight down, but because I'm trying to show you, I'm doing it on an angle. So now you just have to keep doing this until it's closed, okay? And you'll see you get some color in there. I can still see I've got a little bit of white, and I can see the white mold through there. That was 3. Now my hand might be in the way, so just bear with me. I just want to get right in the middle of that last little bit and drip, and there we go. So that was 3.5, and look, it's closed. It's closed. See, I told you. Little secret, little trick. Now, yeah, I mean, you could swirl that around and use it in a pendant or something. It's a bit thick, it's a bit hot. So probably not going to do much with it, but you can feel that it's really quite warm now. But you need to, as far as I can see, you need to wait until your resin started to really thicken before you start sucking it. I did one, I just did a little practice the other day, and I suctioned it straight away, and because the resin was so thin, it just kind of flew back to where it was. Whereas when a resin's thicker, you suction it out and it kind of stays where you want it to stay. So cross fingers that is going to look nice. I'm going to bring you down a little bit closer. Let's get these gloves off and we'll shine the torch in and we'll see what the difference is. So the idea of having the clear is not really to change the color, but for me to be able to see what's going on in the middle. All right, that's why I use the clear. Now, all right, flashlight again. Look away if you don't like bright lights or flickering lights. Okay, and there you go. It is closed up. It's got some really interesting little effects going on in there. We have no idea what we're going to get just yet. So I'm not going to swirl the middle. I'm not going to put any stones in it, no glitter, nothing. Just going to leave it like that. Yeah, and see what we get. So, yep, it's exciting, isn't it? It's so exciting. All right, let's hope this works. Right, so after about an hour or so, I gently picked it up and took it over to my curing machine. So it's still hot. It's still bendy. I can see some little bubbles on the edges. I think that must be from in the curing machine, how it gets hot on the edges. I don't know. But anyway, they're easy to trim. So, but I'm really keen to see what this scent is going to look like. So, not being very patient at all. I'll just loosen it all the way. Bit of sticky resin still. Let go of my mold. Sticky resin. All the way around. All right, I think I've loosened it all the way now. Oh, a little soft side still. All right, do you think it's worked, you guys? Because look, I don't see any clear white mold in the middle. So hopefully, I've got a tiny little bit of transparency there I can see through. Oh my gosh. All right. I can sand these little edges later on. Are we ready? Oh gosh. Oh, I'm nervous. I'm always nervous. Who's nervous when it's time to unmold? Mold's not as thick. My husband just brought me some lunch. The mold's not as thick as it was, like the resin, I guess, because you know, I took out 40 mils of it, so I can feel it's not as thick. But that's okay. The whole test of this is to see what the center's looking like. All right, so without further ado, let's see what we've got. Oh, oh wow, you guys. Oh, shut the front door. Shut the back door. Shut all the doors. Oh my gosh. I have a new favorite. Wowzers. Look at that. Oh my gosh, I'm going to go and put it up on the Facebook group right this minute. Can't believe it. It worked, it worked, it worked, it worked, it worked. No center with blob. Right. Alrighty. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. All right, let's walk around the room, okay? Let me just pop that down and then I'll take you down. All right, let's get hold of it. I don't want to drop it. Oh, look at it, you guys. Oh, and I didn't lose all my pink, so yay. I was worried that I was going to lose all the pink, so yeah, I did add that extra little bit of pink. And the edges seem to be purple and blue mainly, and then the pink stayed. But look at the center. The center is that sort of, oh, I don't know, is it blue or purple? It looks like a dark blue. It's really nice I think it's really nice how the center has stayed a little bit dark. Hey, I'm going to come over here. There's my lunch. My husband's dropped my lunch off. Yummo! Saladas. What have I got? Ham, cheese, tomato, avocado. Yum! I'll eat that in a minute. Thanks, Dave. All right, let's get down here into the light. I'm going to come right down here. Then down. A bit of sunshine coming in. Oh, look at that. I love it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to put that right down there and say goodbye, and I'm going to eat my lunch. So yeah, love it. You can see all that detail there. Those gorgeous petals. So happy. No blob in the center. So that's the trick to it. Hope you've all found that useful. Have a go. Show me what you're doing. I'd love to see it. Now, of course, if you wanted to, you could always add a bit of glitter or a sticker or something like that. But look, the whole idea is not adding anything in the middle and just having a natural little flower. Although just a tiny little bit may be nice. Just a teensy tiny little bit of like little black seeds or something like that. Not real seeds, but you know, little tiny little baubles. That would look so cute. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I'm a happy girl. I can go and eat my lunch in peace. All right. Love you all. Take care. Bye for now.